All right, let's dive into the story of a man everyone in his city thought they knew. A man defined by his money and despised for how he got it. He was, by all accounts, a total outcast. But one single, unexpected encounter, well, it changed absolutely everything.
So let me just start by asking you this. How far would you really go for a second chance? I mean, really think about it. For the man at the heart of our story today, Zacchaeus, the answer was pretty simple. He'd do whatever it took, even if it meant making a complete fool of himself in public. Okay, so let's set the scene. We're in Jericho, a really busy, bustling city. It's a place where a ton of money is flowing, but so is a ton of injustice. It's under Roman rule, and you can just feel the tension in the air. Trust? Yeah, that's in pretty short supply.
Right in the middle of all this tension is our guy, Zacchaeus. He's a chief publican. Now, what does that even mean? It means he was a Jewish man hired by the Roman invaders to collect taxes from his own community. And these guys were notorious for taking way more than was required, just to line their own pockets. So to his neighbors, he wasn't just a government employee, he was a traitor, getting filthy rich off their struggles.
So on the outside, Zacchaeus looked like he had it all figured out, right? He was the chief tax collector, he was powerful, and he was loaded. But what was going on inside? That was a totally different story. His reality was one of desperation. He was incredibly lonely, completely unfulfilled. His soul was just starved for something real. The whole city saw a traitor and a sinner, but inside, a quiet, desperate battle was raging.
You know, the Gospel of Luke introduces him with just 3 key facts. His name, Zacchaeus, his job, chief tax collector, and his status, and he was rich. And in the eyes of everyone around him, that was pretty much the whole story. That's all they needed to know.
But then, something happens that's about to turn his whole world upside down. News starts spreading through Jericho like wildfire. This teacher, this guy they say works miracles, a man named Jesus, is passing right through the city. And for Zacchaeus, this isn't just some local gossip. It feels like a tiny spark of actual hope. So he hears the news and decides he has to see this man. But there's an immediate problem. The crowds are huge, and Zacchaeus is, well, he's a short guy. He can't see a thing. So what does he do? In this moment of pure desperation, this rich, powerful official literally runs ahead of everybody and scrambles up a sycamore fig tree. All of that just to get a single glimpse.
I mean, just stop and think about that for a second. A man of his status, his wealth, his authority, running and climbing a tree like a little kid. He was tossing all his dignity out the window. Why? Because he was just too desperate to stay unseen. He had to know who this Jesus was, no matter what it cost. So you have to picture Zacchaeus, clinging to these branches, trying to blend in with the leaves. He's thinking he's just an anonymous spectator in the distance. But oh boy, is he about to find out just how wrong he is.
From up there in his tree, he probably felt pretty safe, you know? Anonymous. He's just the most hated guy in town, secretly watching this parade go by. He feels completely removed from it all. Or so he thinks.
And then, as Jesus is walking right underneath the tree, he just stops. He looks straight up and says, "Zacchaeus, come down. I must stay at your house today." He doesn't just see him, he calls him out by name. For a man who is probably used to hearing his name cursed, hearing it spoken with such purpose must have been absolutely earth-shattering.
The crowd is just stunned. You can almost hear the collective gasp, the whispers turning into angry muttering. Why would this holy man choose to go to the house of a sinner, a thief? They were probably expecting Jesus to publicly shame him, not give him a personal invitation. The most unlikely man in the entire city had just been chosen. Zacchaeus practically falls out of the tree, his heart pounding, and he joyfully takes Jesus to his home. And what the crowd saw as a disgrace was actually redemption happening right before their eyes. The proof wasn't going to be in some fancy words, but in real, tangible action.
So inside his house, in front of everyone, Zacchaeus makes this incredible public declaration. He says he'll repay anyone he has cheated 4 times over. Now, to put that into perspective, Jewish law only required you to pay someone back double. His offer was this radical, voluntary act that went way beyond what anyone expected.
And listen to his full statement. It's just stunning. Notice the words he uses, here and now. This isn't some vague promise for the future. It's a massive, costly change of heart happening right in that moment. That heart that was once totally enslaved by greed was now just overflowing with generosity.
Jesus then turns to that still grumbling, skeptical crowd to explain what just happened, to reveal the real meaning behind this shocking event, and really the core of his entire mission.
He says, "Today salvation has come to this house," and then he delivers the key line for the whole story. His purpose wasn't to hang out with and applaud the people who thought they had it all together. It was to rescue those who felt like they were completely and utterly lost. The outcast was finally home.
So, what do we take away from all this? Well, for one, it's a pretty powerful reminder that nobody is ever too lost to be found. It also shows us that grace can find you even when you're literally hiding up in a tree. And it teaches us that true change, real repentance, isn't just about saying sorry. It produces a real, tangible transformation. And maybe most importantly, Jesus' mission isn't to congratulate the found, it's to search for the lost.
And that kind of brings this whole story back to us, doesn't it? Zacchaeus had to climb a literal tree to get over his own limitations and see things clearly. So it leaves us with a question to chew on. What's the tree you need to climb to get a better view? What's the obstacle, the fear, or the pride you need to overcome?